So, welcome to Tax Talk. So, ngayon, ang pag-uusapan natin ay yung 8% tax rate. So, mahalagang pag-usapan tong 8% tax rate kasi sa parating na filing natin ng ating percentage tax returns and yung by next month, yung parating na filing ng quarterly income tax return for individuals, okay, by May 15. And under those tax returns, you will be required to choose whether you will be taxed under the graduated tax table or you'll be using the 8% tax rate. So, syempre, bago ka mamili, kailangan mo munang malaman kung ano nga ba yung pinagpipilian mo, di ba? So, we will talk about first the 8% tax rate. Ano nga ba ito? Paano ito gamitin? At paano ito makakatulong sa'yo? Okay? So, let's start. Yeah. So, what is the 8% tax rate? So, ang 8% tax rate daw ay simplified tax rate for income tax. So, para to sa income tax. Okay? So, simplified kasi before the train law began, meron tayong tinatawag na graduated tax table. So, under the graduated tax table, ayan, yung nakikita ninyo, medyo complex siya, di ba? May bracket-bracket and then may percentage and may excess pa. So, this would be overwhelming kapag bago ka pa lang sa business at wala ka talagang idea when it comes to paying your income taxes. So, what the train law did is that they formulated a tax rate na mas pinasimple, okay, para sa mga individuals para mag-comply at magbayad ng kanilang income tax. Okay? So, dito kasi sa 8% tax rate, ang babayaran mo lang is 8% ng gross sales or gross receipts mo. So, yun yung nasa bullet number 2. Okay? And also, when it comes to the 8% tax rate, it's already in lieu of the 3% percentage tax rate. Pero ngayon, sa Create, it's now 1% until 2023. Anong sabihin ng in lieu? Sabihin, kapalit ng inyong percentage tax rates. Okay? So, kapag pinili mo kasi yung 8% tax rate, hindi mo na kailangan mag-file or hindi mo na rin kailangan magbayad ng iyong percentage tax returns. Okay? So, more on that later kasi meron tayong kailangan clarify doon. Pero yun yung pinaka gist noon. Okay? So, hindi mo na kailangan mag-file or magbayad ng iyong percentage tax returns. Okay? So, ito nga po yung graduated tax table na medyo complex, di ba? Kaya ang ginawa is yung meron tayong 8% tax rate. So, sino nga muna ba ang pwedeng gumamit or qualified na magkaroon ng option na mag 8% tax? Okay? So, this is only for individual taxpayers. So, ito yung mga sole props or merong DTI certificates or yung mga nagpa-register sa BIR using their professional tax receipt or occupational tax receipt. Okay? Hindi to pwede sa mga SEC registered businesses or yung mga corporations or partnerships, 'di ba? Bawal siya din or OPCs for that matter. So it is only for individual taxpayers, okay? To in further detail, it's para lang din siya sa mga citizens and resident alien. So citizens meaning Pinoy lang and then resident alien para yan sa mga foreigners na nandito sa Pinas on a indefinite time period, okay? And this is only for purely business or purely professional income earners and for mixed income earners. Okay? Bawal siya para doon sa mga tao na ang kanilang income lang ay sweldo. Okay? So, purely compensation earners. So, bawal sa kanila yon. Ang pwede lang sa percent income yung may business or professional income. Okay? Pwede yung mixed income earners o yung tinatawag nating may trabaho ka, empleyado ka, sumisweldo ka, at then on the side, meron ka ring registered na business. You are then called a mixed income earner. Okay? So, this is also for not VAT registered individuals. Okay? So, dapat hindi ka VAT registered. Okay? Kasi 'di ba, pag nag-register ka sa BIR, you will be asked by the BIR whether you'll be registering your business as a VAT or non-VAT business. So, dapat ang sinabi mo ay non-VAT ka. Okay? So that you will be qualified for this 8% tax rate. Okay? Also, the business is within the scope of Section 116 of the Title 5, which is other percentage tax of the tax code. Title 5 of the tax code. So, ano yung sabihin nito? Ito yung mga businesses na wala dun sa, ngayon, CC na siya eh. So, wala from letter from letter A to letter B, ayan, wala siya doon. And yung business mo ay, within the Section 116 or yung mga business na hindi lumagpas yung kanilang gross sales sa 3 million pesos, okay? Kasi kapag lumagpas ka na ng 3 million pesos, 'yan mandatory VAT registered individual, taxpayer ka na, okay? Or mandatory, individual taxpayer, yun na yung business mo, okay? So yun nga, isa pa sa condition is yung gross sales or receipt mo does not exceed 3 million pesos. Okay, does not exceed 3 million pesos. So, how do you avail of the 8% tax rate? So, kung qualified ka dun, okay, you may avail or you may be given the option to either avail it using upon registration dun sa 1905 mo, dun sa line 23, meron tanong na are you availing of the 8% income tax rate option? So, either yes or no. Of course, if you want to use of the 8%, you'll say yes, 'di ba? You'll just tick mark yes and then once the COR or 'di ba nagpa-register ka sa BIR and then the output of your registration would be the certificate of registration or your BIR form 2303, kailangan lang doon mag-reflect na meron kang 8% tax na nakalagay doon. May for some RDOs nilalagay nila 'yon na 8% tax ka. Okay? And then mawawala yung, hindi ka bibigyan ng, percentage tax na na tax type, okay? So yun yung, kapag upon registration, yun yung pinili mo. Pagka-register mo pa lang, desidido ka na, "Ay, mag-e-8% na ako." Kasi you already know of the benefit of the 8% tax rate. Okay? Or kapag kung na-miss mo naman nung time ng registration pa or hindi ka pa sure ng panahon ng registration, nilagay mo muna no kasi, hindi mo pa alam kung, makakabuti ba sa'yo itong 8% tax rate, so nag-no ka muna. Pero after this, seminar, nakita mo, "Ay, parang okay pala." So, puwede ba ako mag-avail ng 8% tax rate? Yes, puwede pa po. Upon the filing of the first 2551Q or 1701Q, whichever is earlier. Okay, so in this case, this 2021, ang mauuna kung calendar year ka, siyempre individual calendar, year naman. So, ang mauunang deadline kasi is yung 2551Q at dun pa lang sa 2551Q, tatanungin ka na kung mag-e-8% ka ba or magga-graduated tax ka, okay? So, 'yan, kailangan mong i-tick mark kung gusto mo mag-avail ng 8% tax rate, ayan, i-choose mo lang yung 8% tax, okay? So that you'll be, having the benefit of the 8% tax rate, okay? So, do not forget to signify your option to be taxed at 8%. Lalong-lalo na kapag, hindi mo siya na-signify nung registration pa lang at isi-signify mo pa lang siya dun sa 2551Q or sa 1701Q mo. Okay, kailangan clearly na naka-tick mark or naka-check or na-off mo yung 8% kasi kapag hindi, you'll be taxed at the graduated tax table, okay? So yun yung consequence nun. So kung gusto mo talagang 8% tax, kailangan mong i-choose yung 8% tax rate na yun, okay? Siyempre may tanong na, paano naman po yung ano, yung upon registration, sinabi ko na 8% ako, kailangan ko pa bang i-tick mark yung 8% ulit kapag nag-file ako ng 2551Q at 1701Q ko? Yes, kailangan pa rin. Parang, ine-emphasize mo lang dun sa returns mo na, ay 8% talaga ako. Okay, 8% talaga. So, yun yung kailangan mong gawin, huwag mong kakalimutan kung gusto mo talaga mag 8%, lagi mong i-choose yung 8% sa 2551Q mo at sa 1701Q. Okay? On the first quarterly filing ng iyong 2551Q and 1701Q. And the subsequent din. Kailangan sa mga subsequent mo din, kailangan consistent ka. Okay? Hindi rin pwede yung sa first quarter, nag 8% ka, tapos nung second quarter, nag-graduated, nung third, nag-8, tapos hindi. Once you choose na 8% ka ng first quarter or yung first filing mo, kailangan consistent ka na. Okay? Consistent na yun. Hanggang sa mag-file ka dun sa fourth quarter mo or hanggang sa annual income tax return mo. Dapat consistent. Okay? So, yan. So, paninindigan mo yung iyong desisyon. Ano ang epekto kapag ang pinili mo ay 8% tax rate? So, you are no longer to file or required to file and pay BIR Form 2551Q. So, ito na nga, pinasimple na kasi ng BIR to wherein para hindi na nalilito yung mga tao, di ba? Lalo na yung mga simpleng uh, micro entrepreneurs or mga small entrepreneurs na wala talagang know-how sa pag-file ng taxes, hindi nila alam yung mga deadline. Para isa na lang yung isipin na lang deadline, which is yung deadlines for income tax return, yun na lang yung kanilang iisipin at yun na lang yung i-file nila. Hindi na sila mag-iisip ng kung ano-ano pa. Isang tax return na lang yung i-file nila. So, yun yung isang effect ng 8% tax return. However, sa Revenue Regulations 8-2018 regarding 8% tax, sabi daw doon kapag non-VAT ka, okay, before the train law began, non-VAT ka, tapos nung nagkaroon ng train law, sabi mo, ay mag-8% pala ako. Okay? Pero hindi mo pa daw pinababago yung COR or yung BIR Form 2303 mo through update of registration using the BIR Form 1905. Okay? Hanggat hindi mo pa napababago at hindi mo pa napapalagay doon or napapa-stop file yung percentage tax mo, kailangan mo pa rin daw mag-file ng 2551Q. Okay? So, hangga't hindi mo napapabago yung COR mo at meron kang percentage tax quarterly doon, or yung iba, baka luma pa yung COR, may percentage tax monthly, sana pabago nyo na rin yun. Okay? Hangga't hindi napapabago at may percentage tax pa rin yun at wala pa rin tatak na 8% doon, sabihin, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung system na ang tingin ng system, dapat ka pa rin mag-file ng 2551Q. Ang mangyayari doon ay kailangan mo pa rin mag-file ng 2551Q hangga't hindi mo napapabago yung COR mo. Okay? Diyan yung sabi sa RR 8-2018 Section 12 Registration Updates. Okay? So sabi dito, the existing non-VAT taxpayer who is contemplating to avail of the 8% tax rate at the beginning of the taxable year or before the due date of filing and or payment of the percentage tax shall file an application for registration information update. Ito nga yung BIR Form 1905 to end date the registered tax type of the percentage tax. Okay? So, kapag hindi mo pa daw napapa-update, yun nga, sorry na, paulit-ulit, pero yun nga, just to bring emphasis to this, if the taxpayer is unable to timely update the required registration, he or she shall continue to file the percentage tax reflecting how much? Zero. Okay? Zero lang naman yung ilalagay mo doon. Pero kailangan mo pa rin mag-file kasi sa system ni BIR, kailangan mo pa rin mag-file hanggat hindi mo pa rin napapa-end date yung registration type mo na percentage tax. Okay? So yun yung kailangan mong parang security blanket mo. Okay? So kailangan mong end date mo muna yung percentage, yung tax type mo na percentage tax. Okay? So pero in our case naman, mas okay na lang din siguro na meron pa ring percentage tax return na nakalagay diyan kasi mahirap naman kapag kunyari by the next year naman din, okay, kung gusto mo nang lumipat or gusto mo na mag-graduated tax table, papa-end date mo na naman yung 8% o kaya papabago mo na naman yung COR mo para naman meron ka namang percentage tax return, okay? So, ayun, mahirap na babalik-balik naman sa BIR. So, sa amin, what we do is that, we just file zero return sa BIR form 2551Q, wag niyo lang kakalimutan, pero zero lang naman. And then by the time na income tax return filing na ng quarterly, ayan 8% na lang yung babayaran namin sa income tax return. So zero sa 2551Q, ang babayaran na lang kung meron ay sa income tax return na quarterly and annually. Okay? So please put that in mind na hangga't hindi nawawala yung tax type na, na percentage tax quarterly at nag-choose ka ng 8%, kailangan mo pa ring mag-file ng 2551Q. Okay? So, yan. Next, you are not required to prepare financial statements. So, once you choose 8% tax rate, ayan, medyo, yun nga, dahil pinasimple na siya at ayaw ka ng ayaw ka ng um, pakomplikaduhin pa, 'di ba? Maging komplikado pa yung pag-comply mo sa BIR at ayaw ka ng paggastusin din. Siyempre magastos din naman na kumuha ng accountant or ng bookkeeper, 'di ba? Hindi ka na required file ng financial statement mo. Okay? Bakit? Bakit hindi na kailangan mag-file? Kasi ang hihingin lang naman sa'yo is gross sales. So, ikaw naman, 'di ba, businessman ka naman, siyempre ang lagi mo namang kini-keep track is yung sales, 'di ba? Bukod sa kita mo dun sa as in net profit mo, ang isa sa mga tinitignan mo talaga is yung gross sales mo. So parang naglilista ka lang kung ano-ano yung mga nareresebuhan mo, dapat magtatali lang dun sa nire-report mo dun sa income tax return mo, sa income tax return. Okay? So, you are not required to prepare financial statements when you are choosing 8% tax. So, medyo makakatipid ka dito. Kasi hindi ka na mag-hire ng accountant para lang gumawa ng FS mo. Okay? However, ito lang yung isa sa mga main disadvantage ng pagpili ng 8% tax rate. You are no longer allowed to deduct expenses incurred by the business. Okay? So, dahil ang basis ay gross sales or gross receipts or yung pinakatuktok, okay? Ang mangyayari diyan is mababaliwala yung mga gastos ng business mo. Kunyari, meron kang gastos na, meron kang sales na 1,000,000 tapos may gastos ka na 500,000 may pagkakataon na hindi mo na magagamit yung 500,000 na yun, okay? Kasi ang pagbabasihan lang ng tax rate ay yung 1,000,000. May pagkakataon na puwedeng bawasan ng 250,000, mamaya yun, pag-usapan natin yun sa computation. Pero yun, ah, hindi mo na magagamit or maximize yung expenses mo, okay? So, parang masasayang. So, yun yung isa main disadvantage, sorry, ng, pagpili ng 8% tax rate, okay? Will you always be 8% tax? So, kapag ikaw ba pinili mo upon registration, 8% tax or kapag pinili mo no upon filing ng 2551Q or ng 1701Q mo, ay pinili mo ay 8%, forever ka na bang magiging 8%? Ang sagot ay hindi, okay? There are instances that the benefit of the 8% tax may be revoked or uh, not availed of, sorry, not availed. Okay? So, kailan yun? When you forget to signify in your 2551Q or 1701Q, your intention to be taxed at 8%. Okay? Kapag hindi mo daw signify yung 8% or hindi mo tinikmark yung 8%, matik na magiging ang tax mo ay graduated tax table na. Okay? And then you'll be, of course, subjected to the rules na dun sa graduated tax table, either itemized or optional standard deduction ka. So, yun yun. Okay? So, pero ito naman nami-minimize naman 'to na hindi mo makalimutan or hindi ka naman makakapag-proceed mag-file ng 2551Q or 1701Q mo nang hindi mo sinisignify kung anong option yung gagamitin, whether graduated or 8%, kasi hindi mo validate yung return, okay? So, i-stop ka mismo ng EBIR forms or ng EFPS na, "Uy, may kulang ka pa." Kailangan mong mamili kung graduated nga ba or 8%. So, mula dun, medyo mami-minimize mo naman na, na hindi mapili yung 8% or yung graduated tax people, okey? So, 'yan. So, very, minimal lang naman 'to, okey? However, hindi ka rin na puwedeng mag-8% kapag during the year um, nag-exceed ka na ng 3,000,000 na gross sales or gross receipts. Malay natin biglang kang bumenta ng bandang July to December, 'di ba? Kasi bare months na at na-exceed mo na yung 3,000,000 although na, pinili mo yung 8% nung January or nung time na nag-file ka ng 2551Q mo or 1701Q, ang mangyayari dun is one half of the year, January to June, naka-8% ka, and then July to December, naka-graduated tax ka na, okay? By the time na magfa-file ka na ng annual income tax return mo, naka-graduated na din yung annual income mo, okay? So, we'll go into that, later in our discussion of the computation, okay? And of course, kapag naka 8% ka din, hindi ka din puwedeng mag-register as a BMB o BMBE or what we call the Barangay, Micro Business Entity, okay? So, ano naman 'tong Barangay Micro Business Entity, okay? I'll be, um, uh, giving another seminar or, video about this, BMBE, but, uh as a summary, a BMBE, once you are registered as a BMBE, ang mangyayari dito is one incentive would be, you'll be exempt from income tax. Okay? So, pwede kang ma-exempt sa income tax. Okay? So, kapag BMBE registered ka, hindi ka pwedeng mag 8%. Kapag 8% ka, hindi ka naman pwedeng mag BMBE. So, you have to put a balance on whether ano nga bang mas maganda, mag 8% ako or mag-BMBE. So, yun yung pagpipilian mo din, okay? So, how to compute the taxes for 8%? So, it would differ for purely business or professional income earner and, for mixed income earner. So, ito lang yung kasi sa Trindo may tatlong klase na tayo ng tao, depende sa source ng income nila. Una yung purely compensation income earner, yung ang income nila ay nanggagaling lamang sa suweldo bilang empleyado, walang business or whatsoever, okay? Ang isa naman is ito, purely business or professional income earner, and yung isa naman is yung mixed income earner, okay? So, yeah. So, ano nga ba yung purely business or professional income earner? So, this is an income source comes only from the business or the practice of profession. No compensation income earned, meaning hindi siya empleyado, okay? So, wala siyang employer-employee relationship mula kanino man, okay? So, self-employed yung tawag sa kanya, 'di ba? Having, his own business or practice of profession or puwede namang both, 'di ba? Puwede naman din 'yun. So, ano ang, epekto kapag mag-e-8% ka pero purely, business or professional income earner ka? How do you compute for the 8% income tax? Okay? So, we have an example here. Jose owns a grocery store that had a gross sale of 1,000,000 in the first quarter of 2021. He is also an accountant doing bookkeeping services and tax filing services where in the first quarter he had gross receipts of 500,000. So, 1,000,000 sa grocery store, 500,000 sa 500 sorry, 500,000 sa, kanyang tax filing services. How much would be his tax due using the 8% tax rate? So, yan. So, to compute for the tax due using the 8% tax rate, assuming na, yun nga, yung sinignify nga niya na nag-8%, mag-8% siya. So, we just add yung gross sales from his business na grocery store and then yung gross receipt from the practice of profession. So that's 1,500,000 less yung income exempt from tax. So sa graduated tax table or sa train law din, okay, ang first 250,000 na income mo, okay, is exempt from tax. So from 0 to 250, walang tax yun. So doon ang galing to. Okay? So yung first 250,000 daw ng kinita mo mula from your business or practice of profession or both is exempt from tax. So kaya mina-minus or nile-less natin yung 250,000 dito. So 1.5 M gross sales or gross receipt from the business and practice of profession less yung non-taxable na income which is 250,000. Ang mata-tax lang or ang tinatawag naming taxable income is 1,250,000. Okay? Itong 1,250,000 naman ay magiging basis na or ito na yung i-multiply mo dun sa 8% tax rate. Hindi dun sa 1.5 kasi meron tayong less 250,000. So ang taxable income is 1,250,000 times 8%, ang tax due ay 100,000. So yung 100,000 na yan represents payment for your income tax na, okay, kapag nag-file siya ng 1701Q ng first quarter, para na yun sa income tax and para na rin yun sa percentage tax. Okay? Hindi niya na kailangan magbayad pa ng percentage tax. Okay? Kasi nga, ang pinili niya ay 8% tax. Pero pwede pa rin siya mag-file kasi nga baka mamaya hindi pa na-end date yung COR niya. Pero yun, wala ka nang babayaran, zero na lang talaga yun. Okay? So yun. So the 250,000 exemption is an annual fixed amount and not to be stacked or added up altogether per quarter. Kasi dati nung first implementation ng train law at first implementation ng 8% tax rate, hindi alam kung ano bang gagawin dito sa 250,000 na to. 250,000 ba to per quarter? So 250 first, 250 second, or 250 third. Tapos pagdating ng annual income tax return, pag-a-add ko ba lahat ng 250,000? So magkano yun? 250 times 4, di ano, nasa 1,000,000 din na exemption. Sabi ng BIR, hindi. Okay? Yung 250,000 na yan, okay, annual na yan. Okay? So 250,000, hindi mo na siya pag ia-add-add pa, okay? So ikaw ang choice mo 'yun kung sa first quarter gagamitin mo na ba agad lahat ng 250,000 or i-di-divide mo pa siya ng 4, nasa sa'yo na 'yun. Pero ang max na talaga is 250,000, okay? Kasi nung mga first, implementation nga nito nagkalituhan, ano ba yung 250,000 ba times 4 ko ba 'yun kasi 4 quarters or 250,000 divided by 4. So, ang option mo either to put 250,000 fixed na do'n sa tax return or puwede mong i-divide din naman 'yan ng 4. Pero ang malinaw, ang exemption lang ay 250,000, okay? So, do'n sa sinabi ko kanina 'di ba, na you are not allowed to deduct, expenses, okay? Kapag sa, 8% ng purely business or professional income earner, you're only allowed to deduct 250,000. Okay? You are only allowed to deduct 250,000. So, anong impact nito? Okay? Paano kapag meron kang expenses na more than 250,000? Okay? So, lugi ka na. Okay? Yun lang yung mangyayari doon. Kasi may hanggang 250,000 ka lang na pwedeng i-deduct mula doon sa gross sales or gross receipts mo. Okay? So, yun. So, for mixed income earners naman, so ano naman yung mixed income earners? For mixed income earners, we have, these are the persons or individuals na ang source of income nila is, number one, they are an employee, and second, they also own a business or they also practice a profession. Okay? So, the operative word is "and". Okay? So, employee ka na nga tapos may side hustle ka pa na registered sa BIR na business or practice of profession. Okay? So, yun. Ano naman yung pinagkaiba nito mula dun sa diniscuss natin na purely business or professional income earner. So, ito rin first, this is for mixed income earners, ayan, for mixed income earners. So, kung makikita dito, almost the same problem, 1 million in the first quarter of 2021 from the grocery store. Also an accountant doing filing services of 500,000, and he is also an employee. This time, Jose is already an employee. So, kindly disregard na yung dun sa sa heading. This is an example for mixed income earners. Apologies for that. So, this is an example for mixed income earners kasi yan, meron nga siya, employee nga siya who earned 875,000 in the first quarter of 2021. Okay? How much would be his tax due using the 8% tax rate? Okay, using the 8% tax rate. Okay? So, what you'll see here is that we'll just then again add yung gross sales from business and yung gross receipts from the practice of profession. Now, with a total taxable income of 1.5. You might ask muna, bakit wala dito yung 875,000 na sweldo niya from his employment, okay? From Jose's employment. Kasi yung wala diyan yung 875,000 kasi may separate na income tax computation yun. At yung magko-compute ng income tax computation na yun is yung employer niya using the graduated tax table, using the withholding tax compensation table na ginagamit para sa pag-compute ng kanyang payroll. Okay? At pag-compute ng tax niya doon sa income na earned sa pagiging empleyado niya. Okay? So, ang pinag-uusapan lang natin dito is yung kanyang business income. Okay? There are cases na makikita nyo na paano yun? Kunyari si mixed income earner ay naka-earn ng 3.5 million na sweldo mula sa trabaho niya. Okay, sweldo mula sa trabaho, malamang, 'di ba? Hindi na ba siya pwede ng 8% tax? Pwede pa rin, okay? Ang threshold na 3 million na pinag-uusapan natin is for the gross sales or gross receipts, okay? Or income from the business or the practice of profession. Hiwalay yung income coming from the compensation, okay? Which will be taxed using the graduated tax table. Ang kukumputin lang natin on our end as the taxpayer, okay, is the gross sales from business and the gross receipts, okay, from the practice of profession. Okay? So here we have the taxable income of 1.5, or then you'll, of course, you might have noticed na, bakit wala na yung 250,000 dito? Bakit naging 1.5 na yung taxable income? That is because yung less 250,000 kanina na in-apply natin sa purely, okay, hindi na pwede sa mixed income earner. Bakit? Kasi nga, yung 250,000 na income tax exempt ay in-apply doon sa sweldo niya. Okay? Doon sa pag-compute ng tax sa sweldo niya. Okay? Doon sa graduated tax table. Okay? So, doon na-apply yun. Bawal naman kasi na may 250,000 ka na nga na exemption sa sweldo mo, may 250,000 ka naman din sa business mo. Hindi naman pwede yun, di ba? Kasi ang sabi sa batas, hanggang 250. Kapag ginawa mo yun, may 250 ka sa sweldo, may 250 ka sa business, ang mangyayari doon ay magiging 500,000 na. So, hindi na yun yung nasa batas, di ba? Ang sabi sa batas ay hanggang 250,000 lang. So, yung 250,000 na yun, na-apply na dun sa sweldo niya. Okay? So, hindi mo na pwedeng i-apply sa business. Okay? So, yun yung pinagkaiba ng purely business or professional income earner sa mixed income earner. Okay? Hindi sila sa mixed income earner, hindi sila pwede mag-deduct ng 250,000. Kaya dun sa, again, sa sinabi kong disadvantage kanina, sa mixed income earner talaga, wala kang makukuhang kahit anong deduction. Okay? Maski expenses ng business mo, hindi mo pwedeng i-deduct. Okay? Kasi nga, na ang 250,000 nagamit na dun sa sweldo. Okay? I hope malinaw yun. Okay? So, sa taxable income mo, 1.5 M na yung taxable income mo kasi nga wala na yung 250,000. Multiply it with a tax rate of 8%, you will have a tax due of 120,000. Okay, 120,000. And this 120,000 is already payment for your income tax and your percentage tax. Okay? So, hindi mo na kailangan magbayad ng percentage tax return mo. Okay? Kasi nga, naka 8% tax ka na. Okay? So, yeah. So, for mixed income earner, just to put emphasis, the 250,000 deduction could not be applied. Again, because the 250,000 exemption of income is already applied to your compensation income. Okay? So, bawal na magdoble. Okay? So, I hope that is clear. So, who are not qualified? So, just to be clear, sino ang hindi pwede ng 8% na 'to? Number one is corporation. So, madami nung first implementation ng 8%, madaming nalilito. Pwede nga ba yung 8% sa corporation? Hindi, okey? Hindi pwede ang 8% sa mga corporation. It is only for individuals, okay? And if you are an individuals, okay, if you are an individual, sorry, hindi rin to pwede sa non-resident alien. Ito yung mga foreigners naman na hindi resident kung tawagin dito sa Pilipinas, okay? Or hindi sila nag-i-stay dito for a fixed or in a fixed time frame, okay? So, yun yung mga non-resident aliens, okay? So, purely compensation income earners din, bawal sa kanila din itong 8% tax rate. Bakit? Kasi they are subjected to graduated tax table, okay? And they will be subjected to the withholding tax computation na binigay ng BIR. So, ang nagko-compute nun, syempre yung employer mo na, okay? And also, you are not qualified for this if you have registered yourself to be a VAT taxpayer. So, kung VAT ka naman, okay, although pwede naman yun, hindi ka naka-reach ng 3 million na threshold, pero nag-opt ka na mag-VAT, hindi ka rin pwede ng 8%. So, bawal po to sa VAT registered persons. Okay? Partners of a general professional partnership, bawal din po. So, ano po yung general professional partnership? Ito po yung mga partnership na saan nag-form sila ng partnership to practice their professions. Kunyari yung mga magpa-partners na accountant, magpa-partners na engineers and so on. Okay? So, yung mga partners doon, bawal silang mag 8%. Okay? Bawal silang mag 8%. Because as a general professional partnership, yung partnership nila, non-taxable yun. Okay? So, as a partner naman, okay, in their individual capacity, they are not allowed to choose 8% tax rate. Okay? So, yan. Business registered under the barangay microbusiness entity, as I mentioned, hindi sila pwede mag 8%. So, you must choose between the two incentives, whether you want it to be simplified pero you cannot be income tax exempt, or either you be income tax exempt pero you will be paying naman percentage tax naman. Okay? So, more on that when I release another video regarding barangay micro business entity and how to avail this incentive. Pero yun nga, bawal. Kapag BMBE ka, bawal ka mag 8%. I hope malinaw po yun. And then, business not within the scope of Section 116 of the Title 5. So, ito yung kunyari, operator ka ng taxi or mga PUVs, ano pa, tulad ng kunyari may owner ka ng nightclub, although kung meron pang nightclub ngayon, 'di ba, hindi naman pwede. So, ayan, meron 'yon from Section 117 and then if I'm not mistaken to 124. Ayan, 'yun yung mga hindi pwede ng 8% kasi may kanya-kanya silang tax rate na percentage tax. Okay? So, 'yun lang yung mga under Section 116. So, ano nga po ba ulit yung mga under ng Section 116? Ito yung mga business na pwedeng maging VAT registered pero, dahil hindi sila di nila na-meet yung VAT threshold or hindi nila na-exceed yung VAT threshold na 3 million as of the moment at pinili nilang mag-non-VAT, kaya napasok sila sa Section 116 at kaya ang tax rate nila ay 3%, 3%. Okay? So, yun yung nasa Section 116. Okay? So, if you want more info, just go to the tax code and then go to Section 116. Okay? So, yan. Gross sales or gross receipts exceeds 3 million. So, exceeds na. So, over na ng 3 million in one taxable year. So, bakit bawal na mag-exceed ng 3 million? Kasi once you have exceeded the 3 million threshold, as of now, you will now, if you exceed the 3 million threshold, you will now be considered as a VAT registered person. You'll be a mandatory VAT registered person. And of course, when you are VAT registered, you are not allowed to be taxed at 8%. Okay? To be taxed at 8%. So, yun. Okay? Kaya bawal na yung mag-exceed yung 3 million. Okay? So, yun po yun. What happens if I exceeded the 3 million gross sales or receipt na threshold within the same taxable year? Kunyari nga, as I mentioned, from January to June, okay, nung nag-file ka ng 2551Q mo on the first quarter and then the 1701Q on the first quarter, you chose 8% and that's why you'll be taxed at 8% uh, all throughout the year. Pero unknowingly, biglang pumalo yung sales mo, lumobo, nag-over ng 3 million, okay? So, sabi nga natin, kapag nag-over ka ng 3 million, bawal ka na mag-8%. Anong mangyayari, okay? So, yung mangyayari doon is yung total taxable income mo will now be subject to graduated tax table, yung table na pinakita ko po kanina. Okay? However, hindi naman masyadong masama yun kasi this time dahil nag-over ka na ng 3 million at graduated tax table ka na, lahat ng kung anong ginastos mo sa business mo, okay, you may be allowed to deduct those items. That is if you go for itemized deduction. Or you'll either choose optional standard deduction din naman. Okay? So, yan. Pero if I were you, go for itemized na lang. Okay? So, I'll be having another separate video on this, whether ano nga bang mas maganda, itemized or optional standard deduction when it comes to graduated tax table. Okay? Pero yan, you will be allowed to deduct more than 250,000 na kasi hindi ka na pala 8%. Okay? Kunyari, starting July, naka-hit ka na over 3 million, ayan, your computation now will be using the graduated tax table. Okay? You will not be using the 8% tax na computation. Okay? So, mahalaga po yun. Okay? Huwag niyong kakalimutan. You will now be subjected to VAT. Why? Because you have already exceeded as of the moment, the VAT threshold of the 3 million. Bakit ko sinasabing as of moment? As of the moment. Kasi the VAT threshold, which is now at 3 million, could be adjusted every 3 years. Okay? Depende sa NEDA or National Economic Development Authority. Kung tama pa rin ba yung VAT threshold na 3 million or kailangan bang i-adjust pa. So, kaya ko nababanggit yung as of the moment. Okay? So, subject to adjustment kasi yun. Okay? So, once you exceeded the VAT threshold, you are now mandatorily you are now mandatory to pay VAT output taxes. Okay? Minus all the input taxes that you have. Of course, you need to update your COR uh, using the application form 1905. So, kailangan mong i-update yung application mo doon para maging VAT registered taxpayer ka na. And then once you go VAT, you can now never go back. Then joke lang. So, ayan, since mandatory ka na, ayan, you can never go back nga talaga. Okay, once you go VAT, you can never go back kasi nag-exceed ka na ng 3 million. So, wala nang alisan 'yon. Okay, wala nang alisan. So, last slide would be your decision whether to 8% or not 8%. So, of course, I will not make that decision for you. I'll just give you some questions that might help you in making that decision. Number one question would be do I have the resource to hire an accountant? Okay? So, bakit ko tinanong yan? Kasi kung meron ka namang resource na meron kang pangbayad ng isang accountant, ng isang retainer, okay? Meron kang accountant na mag-a-advise sa'yo na, "Ay ito puwede natin 'tong ibawas." Or, "Sayang naman 'tong mga expenses na 'to, 'wag na lang tayo mag 8% and so on." Meron kang accountant na magmo-monitor ng deadlines kasi masyado ka ng busy na pagpapayaman. So, si accountant na lang yung magmo-monitor ng deadline at magfa-file para sa'yo, okey? Pero kapag wala ka ng gano'n, kung wala kang pambayad para doon, sorry, kung wala ka pang pambayad para doon kasi, nag-uumpisa ka pa lang and so on and of course, hiring an accountant, a retainer accountant may cost you, okey? Depende naman siyempre sa service ng accountant, 'di ba? So, kung gusto mo na makatipid-tipid muna, ayan, baka mas gusto mong 8% na lang. Bakit? Kasi isa na lang naman yung, aabangan mong deadline tapos ang mangyayari dun is, um imo-multiply mo lang naman ng 8% yung gross sales mo. Kapag purely ka, ma-minus mo lang naman yung 250,000. May 4 ka lang naman na filings, wag mo na naman na sanang ma-miss yun, 'di ba? Kapag 8% tax rate ka. Well, of course, meron ka pang ibang tax types like the withholding tax. So, wag mo sana din ma-miss yun. Pero at least nabawasan ka ng iisipin. So, if you want to, kung naka-budget meal ka and you want to do it on your own, then maybe you want to go for 8%. Pero kung meron ka namang budget for an accountant, well, I, uh, I might advise you not to go 8%. Okay? Number two, will you apply for an income tax exemption for BMBE? As I mentioned, kapag nag-BMBE ka, income tax exempt ka. Although, kapag income tax exempt ka dahil BMBE ka, you are required to file and pay your percentage tax returns. Okay? So, kailangan mong i-balance yun, okay? So, by our computation, ayan, just to give you, um, yung meron kang threshold na 400,000, okay? For 400,000, what does the 400,000 mean? If you go over the 400,000, talo ka na kapag nag 8%. If you have a gross sale of 400,000 or more, ayan, talo ka kapag 8% ka. Okay? Mas maganda mag-BMB ka na lang. Okay? Mag-BMB ka na lang. Kasi mas maganda yung benefit. Okay? Pero kapag less than 400,000 naman yung nagiging benta mo, edi mag 8% ka na lang. So, ikaw bahala. Okay? Will my expenses, sorry for that, will my expenses from my business exceed 250,000? So, 250,000. So, yun nga, ang sabi ko is once you go 8%, okay, if you are purely earning your income purely from business and profession, you have only the maximum of 250,000 worth of deductions. Okay? And then, in excess of that, sayang yung mga expenses mo. Okay? Pero kung less than 250,000 naman yung expenses mo and then hindi mo din naman ma-substantiate or wala ka naman din mga resibo para doon, and then baka mas gusto mo mag 8% para wala ka na masyadong iisipin. Kasi ang mga deductions din naman kasi may mga rules din yun. Okay? So, yan. And lastly, do I expect to hit over 3 million within the taxable year? So, bakit, consideration ito? Kasi kung ine-expect mo din naman na, mag-o-over ka ng 3,000,000 within the taxable year, better yet na mag-VAT register ka na lang, 'di ba? Kasi, um, masasayang yung mga nakuha mong input taxes nung, before ka mag 3,000,000 as to kapag 3,000,000 ka within the year, kapag hindi ka pa nag-register nun, masasayang yung input taxes mo. Medyo technical siya, pero ayun nga, when we discuss VAT, we'll take more on input taxes, pero sayang din. And of course, the hassle na ang mangyayari is kapag nag-over kasi ng 3,000,000, ang mangyayari diyan, you need to update your registration with the BIR from non-VAT taxpayer to VAT value-added taxpayer. Okay? So, ang hassle naman nun kapag kaka-register mo pa lang, non-VAT, tapos bigla kang in the middle of the year or wala ka pang 3 months na hit mo na agad over 3 million, good for you, 'di ba? Magandang problema 'yon. Pero yun nga, ang hassle lang naman na pupunta ka pa sa BIR at i-update mo pa yung COR mo. And then you'll be having two kinds of tax rates governing your income. And of course, sa business taxes mo naman din, you will now be mandatory in paying your value-added tax, your output on value-added tax, while you cannot, kapag hindi ka pa nakakapag-register, you cannot deduct any input naman. Okay? So, make a forecast of your sales throughout the year. Okay? Nagkaroon ka naman na ngayon ng January to March, di ba? So, from there, from your performance from January to March, ano ba nakikita mo? Will you hit 3M? Malapit ka na ba mag 3M or medyo malayo-layo pa? And that would give you an indication whether to use the 8% or not use the 8%. Okay? So I hope this video has been helpful in order for you to choose in the coming days kapag nag-file na tayo ng 2551Q and then the next month ng 1701Q, whether to choose 8% or not choose 8%. I hope that I have given you much information that you need in choosing wisely. Okay? So if this video has been valuable to you, please do not forget to share this video and of course to subscribe to our channel for more updates and for more videos like this to inform you more about taxes. Alam mo naman natin medyo komplikado yung taxes and we are here to help you manage your way to taxes. Okay? So maraming salamat sa pakikinig and I hope you do subscribe, like, and click the notification bell. Maraming salamat po and good day and God bless.